Imagine a honeymoon trip turning into an unsolvable mystery. In 1928, newlyweds Glen and Bessie Hyde embarked on an ambitious journey through the Grand Canyon, only to vanish without a trace. Did they succumb to the canyon's unforgiving depths, or was something far more sinister at play? We're diving into the perplexing cold case that has baffled investigators for decades, uncovering conflicting accounts and shocking claims that might finally unravel the truth behind their disappearance. Welcome to Case Files of the Missing, where the search for answers does not end with time. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Before she became associated with one of the Grand Canyon's most enduring mysteries, Bessie Hyde lived a life shaped by independence and reinvention. She grew up in Parkersburg, West Virginia, a river town where community ties were strong and expectations were often traditional. Friends described her as creative and thoughtful. She pursued education at Marshall College, where she developed an interest in art. In June of 1926, Bessie married Earl Helmick in Catlettsburg, Kentucky. The two had known each other since high school, and their wedding appeared to mark the beginning of a conventional path. But within weeks, that path shifted. Bessie returned to her parents' home shortly after the ceremony. Newspaper reports later stated she planned to travel to San Francisco to continue studying art, a decision that raised questions among those who knew her. Rumors circulated, but none were confirmed. What remains clear is that Bessie chose to leave behind a life that no longer felt right for her. In February 1927, she boarded a passenger ship bound for Los Angeles. It was on that journey that she met a man whose ambitions would soon reshape her future. Glen Hyde came from Hanson, Idaho, a small agricultural community surrounded by rugged landscapes. He attended the University of Idaho and later worked as a farmer, but his true identity centered around the outdoors. Glen was known among friends as confident and intensely driven. He was fascinated by river travel at a time when such expeditions were rare and largely undocumented. When he met Bessie aboard the passenger ship traveling from San Francisco to Los Angeles, their connection formed quickly. They shared a desire for change, a willingness to step outside conventional expectations. But their relationship faced immediate obstacles. Bessie was still legally married. When Earl Helmick refused to agree to a divorce, Bessie relocated to Elko, Nevada to meet residency requirements for a legal decree. Her divorce was finalized on April 11, 1928. The next day, she married Glen Hyde in Twin Falls, Idaho. Their marriage would soon become inseparable from a single daring goal. The Hydes envisioned a honeymoon unlike any other. Rather than traveling to a resort or city, they'd planned a rafting journey through the Green River and Colorado River, an expedition intended to establish a speed record. Their vessel was a handmade wooden sweep scow weighing nearly 2 tons. Flat-bottomed and heavy, it reflected the rafting traditions of Idaho river runners. Glen, confident in his experience, refused to carry life preservers or safety jackets, a choice that reflected the customs of the era but would later become a point of intense discussion. Bessie was new to rafting. Her diary entries and letters hinted at a mixture of excitement and apprehension. As they traveled deeper into the canyon system, the landscape grew more remote, and the risks became harder to ignore. On November 15, 1928, the Hydes arrived at the home of Amory Kolb, a photographer and entrepreneur, who operated near the Bright Angel Trail along the rim of the Grand Canyon. They stopped to restock supplies. Kolb photographed the couple standing at the canyon's edge, unaware that the image would later become one of the final confirmed records of their journey. Kolb later recalled that Bessie appeared uneasy. He advised Glen to carry life-saving equipment on board. Glen declined. After restocking their scow, the Hydes pushed off from the canyon rim. No confirmed sightings of them exist after that moment. When the Hydes failed to return home by early December, concern quickly escalated. Glen's father joined the search effort, coordinating with local explorers and pilots. In mid-December, a small aircraft located their scow drifting in the river. Searchers reached it on December 25th. What they found raised more questions than answers. The boat was upright. Supplies remained neatly arranged. Their coats and hiking boots were still on board. Bessie's diary and Glen's firearm had not been disturbed. 42 notches carved into the gunwale marked each day of the expedition, a quiet record of their progress through the canyon. There was water pooled inside the boat, but investigators could not determine whether it came from stored supplies or the river itself. The tow line had become caught under water and had to be cut free. Yet there was no sign of Glen or Bessie. Extensive searches of the canyon produced no confirmed evidence. Investigators believe the most likely explanation involved an accident during a routine maneuver on the river. But Glen's father proposed another theory, that the couple experienced difficulties, left the boat, and attempted to hike out of the canyon. The terrain was vast and unforgiving. If that had happened, finding them would have been nearly impossible. Years later, a witness claimed to have seen a brown leather jacket floating in the water around the time of their disappearance. Bessie was known to wear such a jacket, but the report could never be verified. The Hyde case resurfaced repeatedly over the decades. In 1971, a woman named Elizabeth Arnold Cutler claimed she was actually Bessie Hyde and had survived the journey. She later withdrew the claim, and official records confirmed her identity as someone else entirely. In 1976, an unidentified skeleton discovered in the canyon sparked rumors that Glen had been found. Laboratory testing eventually ruled out that possibility. Public interest, intensified by television coverage in 1992, sparked speculation that river runner Georgie Clark might have been Bessie Hyde after reports claimed that papers connected to the Hydes, along with a marriage record listing her as Bessie DeRoss, were discovered in her home following her death that year. However, many historians have disputed the theory, pointing out that Clark's early life is thoroughly supported by existing historical documentation. Other supposed sightings and identifications also proved false. The mystery remained intact. Speculation has continued for generations. Some believe the river itself claimed the couple. Others suggest they may have attempted to leave the canyon on foot. There were even rumors involving Bessie's first husband, though no evidence supported those ideas. What makes the case endure is not just the disappearance itself, but the story of who Glen and Bessie were. A young couple chasing history. An ambitious dream set against an unforgiving landscape. And a silence that has never been broken. Today, Glen and Bessie Hyde's disappearance is no longer actively investigated. Yet their story continues to echo through canyon lore. River guides still speak about the abandoned scow. Historians still debate the unanswered questions. And travelers standing at the canyon rim sometimes look out across the vast horizon and imagine the couple pushing their heavy boat into the current, unaware that their journey would become one of the most enduring mysteries in the history of the Grand Canyon. Their story remains open, a reminder that some adventures never truly end, and that some answers may still lie hidden within the canyon walls. This is Case Files of the Missing, where the search for answers does not end with time. For more intriguing missing person and cold case stories, please like, comment, and subscribe.